Real Truth Daily. This is Daily Truths with Dave Allman.
Well, hi, Pastor Dave.
Hey, Ken.
It's good seeing you again. It's just been too long. And,
Right?
you know, this whole thing on memory, I think it's so funny. And what I wanted to do with you right now is just say ball house, truck tree. Okay. I learned this in my last physical that I went to.
Yeah. How'd you do?
Well, I actually tested the nurse. I said, so what were the 4 words I was supposed to remember?
And she couldn't remember
She
me.
couldn't remember me. She looked at her notes. So anyway, I said, you know, I love what you said about, you know, there's a reason why our memory is failing. Now, I mean, when you couldn't remember Ukraine, I can empathize with that because
So embarrassing.
oh gosh,
man.
Yeah, that's a tough one. But I'm gonna ask you about those 4 words when we're all finished up here. So I'm sure most everybody that's watching will have it down.
Yeah, I'm sure.
They're a lot younger than
The pressure's on.
the pressure is.
Yeah.
For you, that's gonna be tough. I'm glad I'm not having it. But what you were saying is that essentially we're dying. We don't want to think about that.
No.
But I read an article a while back. It says, you know, when you turn 30, your body starts to fail.
Yeah.
In a lot of different ways. And I learned that playing baseball.
Right?
I had a lot of failures. And,
Yeah.
yeah. So even just swinging a bat, it hurt.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, biblically, and when Jesus is talking to us, does he ever talk about, you know, as we begin to, our bodies aren't the same physically and we're not the same cognitively? Is there anything in Scripture that talks about that at all? Because it is frustrating. And I know the disciples struggled in a lot of different ways. And I don't know if it's because of their age. I think they're all pretty young.
They were. Yeah.
But what's going on? I realize death is part of our sinful state, and
Right.
it's because of sin. That's
Right.
why that happens. Is it because of sin our bodies start to fail? I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, I used to say we're born to die, right?
Yeah.
But that doesn't go over real well. It's not a real evangelical statement.
Nobody wants to hear that.
The theme for today is we're born to die. But I mean, all our days are numbered. The wages of sin is death.
Right.
We come into this world empty-handed. We leave the world empty-handed. I mean, part of the curse, the fall of Adam and Eve, is the fact that someday we're going to be laid to rest. And the problem with sin is the longer we live here, the more impact it has on us,
Sure.
including our relationships, including what's happening in the world, but also including what happens up here. And I know, interestingly, when I preach now and when I do DTs, I memorize like 7 or 8 words, right?
Right.
That's kind of my outline, right? And if I can speak on one word, I can speak for a paragraph because I've been doing this for a while.
Sure.
But it used to be that I would write out my sermons, especially the first 10 or 15 years, write them out word for word
Oh my.
and memorize them
Yeah.
word for word. I can't do that anymore, at least not easily.
I don't know if I ever could.
Well, what I'm saying is it's part of our circumstances of living down here, having the impact of sin, realizing that our bodies, our minds are decaying.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And here's the thing, Kent, that I try to communicate. I think for unbelievers, that is a frightening thought.
Oh gosh, yes.
And that's why you hear so many products out there in our culture today to try to keep us young, whether it's from our skin or exercise or whatever. You know, people want to prolong death as long as possible. And I do too. We want to be good stewards of our bodies, right? And we want to take care of the temple and all that. But we also recognize my father-in-law, for instance, is 85, 86 years old, and he's about done.
Oh, okay.
You know, he's saying, okay, kind of like St. Paul, I fought the good fight, I finished the course, I kept the faith,
right.
I'm ready to go.
He's run the
Well,
race.
Christians can say that,
Sure,
right?
sure.
But you talk to somebody who doesn't know exactly where they're going, and they're struggling with the certainty of whether there's really life beyond the grave. People like that, the whole term of death scares them
Frightening.
to death.
Yes.
Right?
That's good. That's good. Good play on words, Pastor.
So, but not for us. because we know that death has been conquered.
That's right. And I thought about that last week. I watched my brother-in-law pass, and he was pretty ill, and we were in the hospital as he was dying.
Yeah.
But when he passed, just a real calm came over the room, and my sister and I and my wife and different people just said, "Oh my goodness, do you feel this?" Because he's no longer struggling to breathe. He's no longer fighting for every breath. And, you know where he went, and you know that he's no longer struggling. And we all just took a deep breath. What a calm that came over us.
Oh, man.
And
of course, he was a strong believer.
Oh, very strong. Yeah. Very strong believer. And that's,
there, the gong is going off. It's time for us to depart.
We're talking too long. I guess we've been yakking. But I see what you're saying, and I understand that. And we talked about that too. What do non-believers do in those situations when you're watching that person pass and they're moving on to their heavenly life, and you're watching them pass? What do non-believers think? I feel sorry for them. I pray for them, because it's got to be so difficult.
Well, so most non-believers, and maybe we have some watching us, think of life like a line segment. Remember geometry?
Yeah, I do.
Right? Okay. Unfortunately, we do remember that. But remember the line? A line that had an arrow here and an arrow here. Yes. Is into eternity, right? Infinity, right? Infinity and beyond, right? Yes. And well, that's God. Animals are a line segment. Right? Yes. Because they have a beginning and an end. They have no soul, so they don't live forever, right? This is the way atheists look at it. Okay, I live, I'm born, I live, and I die. I'm a line segment. That's it. And what they don't recognize is, hey, there's a real heaven and a real hell. And without faith, and this is, by the way, this is an exclusive teaching of the Bible, and a lot of churches are going away from this. But Jesus Christ is the only way to heaven. You've heard that on DT a lot. But atheists believe there is no heaven, there is no hell. I'm a line segment. I'm born. I die. That's it.
Yes. It's all the fun that I have in between.
Right.
And what was that? One of the most toys wins or something like that?
Or the old Schlitz commercial. Schlitz. Now I'm really showing my age.
Wow.
You only go around once in life, so you got to reach out for all the gusto. You can't remember that.
Gusto. Never knew what gusto was, but it sounds great.
Sounds like my uncle. His name was Gus.
Gusto.
Oh my!
Well, I was just thinking to myself. There was some words that I gave you early on. And I was wondering if possibly you remember, first of all, me giving you 4 words. Second of all, 4 words might have been.
What they might have been?
Yes.
Couch, door, pavement, and tree.
That is incredibly close. That's amazing. Never heard of anybody quite that far off. But tree is correct.
Tree is correct.
So, 1 and 4.
Ain't bad.
That's not bad.
The Colorado Rockies batting average is 190 as a team. That's 250 I just got.
You got 250, so you're there. Well, man. Pastor Dave, it's great as always just to see you and talk to you, and I get to listen to you every day, which is fantastic. And this is always fun. But
fun.
Our bodies are failing, our minds are failing. When we're getting old, we're going to die, and that's great. That's right. A good thing.
We're going to be with the Lord.
That's right.
And here's the word: Ukraine. Ukraine.
Got it. Thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome.
Have a blessed day, and we'll see you next time.
All right, sounds good.
Thank you for tuning in to Daily Truths with Dave Allman. Pastor Dave Allman is the pastor of Mount Hope Church in Boulder, Colorado. If this ministry is blessing you, please consider supporting us by sharing this channel with a friend. You can also like, comment, subscribe, or leave a review. This helps us tremendously. Come back tomorrow for your next Daily Truth.